Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame Baseball fam. It's been a week since we've seen you. Pierre, welcome back, by the way. How was
Thank
the
you.
trip? Trip was
All
good?
good. It's always tough to leave South Florida, but got the home digs back. We're all good, and I'm not the only one who just left Miami. Obviously, an exodus of players. That's just a trade deadline tradition for the Marlins.
Yeah, Jazz to the Yankees. That'll be big. That'll be big. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that, I guess. Well, maybe somebody has a question. We'll talk about that, I guess, on the Wednesday stream. But instead, we're going to talk about some guys. Let's start. Well, obviously, we're going to do our two-star streamers like we always do. But first, with the trade deadline just days away, we're talking about some guys that maybe could be moved between now and the deadline. So some guys you think might be moved and where they might be going. Let's start with some pitchers. This is an interesting one. Blake Snell, who went to a new team this year, the Giants, and now already they could be looking to trade him. Is that right?
I think it's one of those things where, like, if the price is right, they can't say no because so many teams need an ace, especially, some of the top contenders who are lacking in the rotation, like the Dodgers, like the Yankees. So I don't think it's a guarantee, but it sounds like he's drawing heavy interest, which makes sense. He's coming off a Cy Young season and coming off a start where he just struck out, I think, 15 batters in just 6 innings, which is pretty insane. So yeah, he's doing all right these days. You remember Blake Snell, the first half of the season was just completely horrible, and then he got hurt. But I finally realized, like, this is just a thing he does. He just really rebounds in the second half, and so he was a great buy low candidate. Obviously, too late now, but yeah, he's a guy I really don't really care where he goes. He's a guy you want the rest of the way. So if you have him, I don't see this as a sell high. Some people are like, oh, he's coming off a good start. Let me get out from under him. I wouldn't do that. I would definitely hold on. And I think the most funny thing is one of the teams that's interested in him apparently is the Padres, who just had him last year, but I guess they want him back. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they'll give up potentially to get him, but it's not a guarantee he'll go, but that would be probably the biggest name thus far that does get moved.
All right, another big name, a guy who's been really good this year, a veteran, Jack Flaherty, obviously toiling away on the Tigers. So there's definitely would be some contenders interested in an arm like that. Who are some teams that could be interested?
I think, we're going to say Dodgers for pretty much all these starting pitchers because the need is obvious with all those injuries. Flaherty would make sense. And of course, it would make a ton of sense for the Tigers. It wouldn't make sense for the Tigers not to trade him when his value is as high as it is. Because, yeah, he's having a great season, but he's not like a Tree Screwball who is, got so many more years ahead of him. And with Flaherty, the back issues, it just makes sense. So Dodgers, and then we've heard the Padres again might be interested in Flaherty, and both of those are pitcher-friendly parks, but I don't think they're upgrades over Comerica. I mean, Detroit's a good place for a pitcher, so either way, you've got to like Flaherty. Anywhere's going to be an upgrade though from Detroit in terms of wins.
All right, and then what about from the Cubs, Jameson Taillon? The Cubs already traded away Christopher Morel, so we know they're sellers. Another decent arm here that teams could be looking for.
Yeah, well, the Cubs, it's weird because they traded to get Paredes, which is a team that, one of these players that you thought a frontline contender like the Astros would go after him. We weren't sure what the Cubs will do, and it's really a kind of a weird move for the Cubs. I don't know why they decided that was a need for them, but anyways, Paredes is a guy who does have some control left. It's not like they're going all in for this year to get him. So it would be weird for them to, on one hand, go out and get Paredes and then go out and sell Taillon, but you can get so much more back for a starting pitcher these days. And Taillon, again, not the youngest anymore, a guy who's had a lot of injuries in his past. So why not, right? Why not go out and get what you can for him? And he could go back to the Yankees. It could be a reunion for them. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right, and then one more starting pitcher. Again, not a young arm here, but toiling away on the White Sox is Eric Fedde. We know the White Sox probably going to be sellers, especially for their vets. So expected him to be moved?
Almost definitely going to be moved. It it would be horrible. No, the White Sox, it's interesting. The whole Crochet thing sounded like he was definitely getting moved, but now there's been a big wrench in that whole thing because he's demanding an extension, demanding that he stays in the rotation in the playoffs. The White Sox could be asking for too much. So that has taken a turn, but Fetty almost definitely gets moved. I think the Astros make sense here, but also the Cardinals might want to get some rotation help, but kind of on the cheap, not get a frontline starter. So Fetty in St. Louis actually might happen. And of course, anywhere is an upgrade going from the White Sox, but especially in St. Louis, that would be good.
And then a closer. We know the Marlins are sellers. They've already sold. Tanner Scott, currently the closer there, but like there's teams that need closers right now, so you got to think he's getting moved, right?
Yeah, I'd say 99.9% sure that's going to happen. The Marlins will take whatever they can get. And so we've heard the Royals. Interesting because people, think, well, they got Hunter Harvey, and between him and MacArthur, apparently they're in on trying to make a run this year, so they might get him. The Mariners have Andres Munoz, but he's been, off and on the IL, so they are also in on him apparently. And believe it or not, team that just got AJ Puck from the Marlins maybe also get Tanner Scott from the Marlins, the Diamondbacks. That's the buzz. It's possible. Royals sound like a likely landing spot, but he's going somewhere. Like definitely going somewhere.
All right, let's get to some hitters. Yandy Diaz of the Rays. So the Rays did make that trade with the Cubs to get Christopher Morel, an outfielder. They traded away their third baseman. Could they also be trading away, I guess, their first baseman here as well?
Yeah, it's weird, but it seems like the Rays might be straight up sellers this year. I mean, obviously they already have been with a Rosarena, guy we weren't sure was going to get moved, not Paredes. So why wouldn't they just go ahead and trade Yandy Diaz, go full youth movement? And the Rays have the farm system to do that. So very good chance Diaz gets moved. Astros make a ton of sense here since they didn't get Paredes. So I would say very strong possibility that he's in Houston. And if not, Seattle's still looking to get some more offense. Maybe they'll make another deal there since they just went and got a Rosarena.
Maybe. And then finally, for the Angels, Taylor Ward. The Angels seem to have no idea what they're doing, like ever, to be honest. So why not just trade their best and only good healthy hitter? Why not?
Well, might as well, right? Not a guarantee Ward gets moved because he's not a free agent at the end of this year, I don't believe. But team, kind of one of those fringe wild card teams that really doesn't want to have to give up much in order to get some help, like the Pirates, like the Royals. They might be in on a guy like Ward who won't be too expensive, seeing how he's already 30. But I mean, why wouldn't they? The Angels, I mean, they've got to be just full out sell mode, shouldn't they?
I mean, shouldn't they be that way every year? And then they never are. Instead of trading Ohtani for a haul, you lose him in free agency, and instead of trading Mike Trout for a haul, you just keep having him on the IL every year. I don't know. The Angels might be the worst run franchise in baseball. Of course, that's coming from somebody who doesn't watch a lot of baseball, so I could be wrong there. All right. Anyways, let's get to the two-start streamers. If you are a streamer like myself, it was a pretty rough week for two starters last week. We had some guys that were supposed to make two starts, didn't make two starts. We had some late scratches today. Looking at you, John Gray. We had guys that just got absolutely obliterated out of the ballpark, but it's going to be better this week. That's what you get when you're streaming. But let's start with the guy who was good last week, has been good most of the year. That is Matt Waldron, who continues to just baffle hitters with that incredible knuckleball. Quality start in 9 of his last 11 starts. Gets the Dodgers first, which is always scary. They are missing a couple of bats, but there still is that guy named Shohei Ohtani in the lineup. But then they get Colorado, not in Colorado, so that's great. So, I mean, Matt Waldron's been so good. I almost doesn't matter who he's playing, does it?
Yeah, I continue to be baffled that he's not owned in more leagues, and somehow it's dropped. He's down to 50%, barely half owned. I remember a couple of weeks ago before the break, it was at least like 60. Again, he's not going to blow anybody away with his stat line or whatever he does, but he's just consistently good, especially if you're in a quality start league. I just don't understand why you wouldn't. I've had him for now 2 months and not let go. I have no reason to. Like you said, the quality starts are always there. He's not got lit up in any game. And then the schedule, yeah, the Dodgers. But remember, they're not going to have Freddie Freeman this first time around. He's going to be out. They said 3 to 7 days. Who knows? The personal, the family issues. So remember, this is the Dodgers lineup. Yeah, it's the Dodgers, but still no Mookie Betts. Now no Freddie Freeman. They have Ohtani. Yeah, Teoscar, but still, from top to bottom, it's not nearly full strength LA Dodgers offense. So I'm not too scared. He's faced them before, and then the Rockies. Yeah, I'm going to be in on Waldron.
All right, and then next up we got a guy I actually did pick up to stream him this week against you, and yeah, he had gone at least 5 innings pitched in 10 straight before this start where he got rocked in 4 innings. Seemed to be the theme of a lot of my streamers this week. But he still has a 3.65 ERA, a 1.22 whip. That is Michael Wacha of the Kansas City Royals. And this week, the White Sox, the Tigers, that's almost as good as it gets.
That's it. It was good to get. Who knows by the time he faces this White Sox lineup, who's still going to be there? A guy like Tommy Pham might get moved. Vaughn, who knows? It's still a great matchup. And the same thing with Detroit and Riley Green on the IL, their best hitter this year. This is Detroit Tiger team without their best hitter. Just think about that. Yeah, this is a gimme. Yeah, Wacha did let down his last start, but he's been pretty consistent. So no reason to really be out on him. If you're looking for a 2-start streamer, you're not going to find anybody with this good of a schedule.
That's right. And now a guy I also picked up to start against you twice. But I got one star from him. Always fun. Andrew Palante, he was actually good in that start, though. I will give him credit for that. He was supposed to face Pittsburgh and Washington this week, but now he didn't face Washington this weekend. So he's going to face this upcoming week. He's going to now face Texas, the Cubs. That doesn't inspire a ton of confidence in me. I know these are offenses that are not juggernauts, but they can get hot every once in a while. But he's been really good in July. 2.79 ERA, 0.83 whip. So are you just riding the hot hand here?
Yeah, he's been pretty good. Like you said, July, the last 2 starts, he's really starting to settle down. Not an amazing schedule, but he's been pretty consistent, and he does get the 2 starts. We're pretty sure this week. That Cubs lineup, sorry, I'm going to stream against them until further notice, because not just Bellinger being out, but also the fact that they just continue to struggle. I mean, I don't see it turning around. Is Paredes all of a sudden going to turn things around? I don't know. I don't see how. He's not that type of player. So, yeah, I think Palante is a solid choice here.
All right, then moving down a little bit farther, another good schedule here for Diamondbacks pitcher Jordan Montgomery. He gets that Washington-Pittsburgh double feature this week, hopefully, assuming he pitches for both of them. He did just come back off the IL. He pitched 5 innings, only gave up 1 run, only struck out 2. But on the season, he's actually, he's not a high strikeout guy. 70 innings, 47 strikeouts, and only 5 quality starts here. But this is another great schedule.
Yeah, Montgomery guy has been, of course, big disappointment this season. Really was great last year. Has not been the same. A lot of it because of injuries. So this past time off the IL, his first start was solid, right? 5 innings, only 1 run. I can't put him any higher than this because I don't feel great. I can't say I'm secure with Montgomery as a starter, but we know he's got the talent, and we know he's got this schedule. Again, at Pittsburgh there, Pittsburgh has scored the 2nd fewest runs in the past week out of any team. That's just such a great spot there. In Washington, they're gotten better. I mean, James Wood obviously has helped that offense, but it's still not a team I'm shying away from. So taking some risk here with Montgomery that he shows flashes more of his former self. Just hope that he's actually healthy.
Yeah, always. Well, he's a start back from IL, so you should feel pretty good about that. Now we got a couple more. Colin Ray of the Brewers also has a decent schedule. Atlanta, not really a lineup to fear anymore. I mean, they got some bats in there, but they also have some not bats in there. And then, of course, Washington just terrible. So he's been his ratio. He's one of those streamers that's like you're hoping for a deep run, a win, a quality start. He's got a 3.6 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, only 84 strikeouts in 110 innings, only 6 quality starts on the season. So this like more deeper league option here.
Getting deeper, yeah. Also, I think I had to point out that now Atlanta, instead of being a team to worry about, this is a team that right now you want to stream against. That's where we've gotten with them because Albies is now gone. Nacho Alvarez, we were excited for a minute. Now we've seen what he's done, not hitting anything. Olsen has still struggled. I mean, this team really has 2 dangerous bats in the lineup. And then it's just a bunch of guys. It just is. I mean, are they even going to be buyers right now? Is it worth it at this point? You got to wonder. But yeah, I'm going to stream against the Braves and Washington. It's fine. It's nothing scary here. So if you're looking a little deeper, I think Rays should be solid.
And then our super deep league special, a guy I've streamed before with pretty good success before he got hurt was Carson Spears. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. For St. Louis. He is supposed to come off the IL tomorrow. So definitely you want to check first because we were supposed to get 2 Max Meyer starts this week. We barely got 1. So you never know with that, but he's supposed to come off the IL tomorrow. And if he does, he's going to face the Cubs and the Giants. And this is a guy, I mean, he's not quite averaging a strikeout per inning, but he's got strikeout upside, which is why I've enjoyed streaming him this year. His ratios are okay, 3.83 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, only 47 innings because of that injury. So risky.
Yeah, deeper, but I'll say it again, that Cubs offense just been horrible. And especially as of late, it's just gotten worse. Bottom 5 in runs scored over the past week. And then San Francisco's actually been really good lately. Believe it or not, they've kind of caught fire, but they've also been striking out at a pretty high clip. So that start might make me a little more nervous. But again, if you're looking for a little bit more K upside compared to some of these other guys, Spears, I think it might be worth the gamble.
All right, there you go. Those are our top. Well, those are Pierre's top 2 start streamers for the week, but there's many others. So if you have questions about it, maybe you're in a deeper league, maybe those guys aren't available, drop it in the chat. We will get to those comments shortly, but I do need to remind you, as always, since it's been a week here, that Underdog Fantasy still going strong with your baseball picks. You got picks starting up here in about 40 minutes. You got Yankees, Red Sox. Man, this used to be must watch. This used to be must watch TV. Now it's like, okay, whatever. One team's good, one team's not. But you can still make the game more exciting by chasing these pick'ems on Underdog. And of course, if you join Underdog and sign up using promo code ENDGAME, they're going to give you a special pick'em that you can combine with any of these picks. That's a free square right there, not to mention up to $250 in bonus cash. And of course, if you play fantasy football as well, which I'm sure a lot of you do, there are drafts. I mean, look at all these drafts going on right now that you can do, ranging from $5 all the way up to like $1,000, I think. Prize pools, 1.5 million, 200 million. What is Best Ball Mania? $15 million prize pool. Drafts are in full swing. A great time to join Underdog right now. And then, of course, they will have football pick'ems and baseball pick'ems going all throughout the season. So if you haven't tried it out yet, no better time. Just make sure when you join, you use promo code ENDGAME to get that special free pick'em that you can't get anywhere else, plus up to $250 in bonus cash. All right, let's get to your questions. That's why you're here. And of course, as always, if you're impatient, you don't want to wait in line, you're generous, you just want to say thanks, or you just have money burning the hole in your pocket, you can feel free to drop that super chat and we'll get to your question right away. You'll skip the line. Let's start with a guy who was here over 3 hours ago. Eddie says, not sure, this was 3 hours ago, not sure I'll be home to watch you live, but he's going to watch it when he gets home. But then the follow-up, we have a happy ending. He made it. He made it back on time. Welcome back, Eddie. Welcome back.
What's up, Eddie?
All right. Gotta love happy endings. All right, Frank has a trade question. What's up, Frank? Traded Mookie Betts and a Rosarena for Steer, Needle, Langford, and Yoshida. It's a 15-teamer with on-base percentage and slugging. All right. You might need to reread that one a few times. What are your thoughts?
Wow. Now, generally speaking, I know you feel this way too, right? We're we're swapping quantity for quality, you generally feel like the quality side is going to win out, right? Get those 2 stars. I think Rosarena kind of counts as a star, right? Big name players as opposed to the 4 solid players. I think this only could backfire if Betts, if his return is really delayed. Honestly, I haven't heard if there's any kind of setback or how soon he is supposed to be back. I know there's some updates. He's going to get ready maybe to swing the bat or something. So we're still a couple of weeks off, right? But I always say, look, come the end, like the actual stretch run, September, especially if you're in playoff time, you're going to want Mookie Betts and then name any other player except for like Shohei Ohtani or, a couple of Aaron Judge. Okay. Gotta want Mookie Betts in there. And a Rosarena, not just getting out of Tampa, but he's been on fire the past month or so, really. He's really catching fire, which is why we've said all season long, as bad as he's been, don't drop him, right? Don't drop a player like that. So, look, Steer's undervalued. I like Steer a lot. Nato is fine. In a 15-team league, I get it. You want that quantity there, but I would rather have the Betts or Rosarena side on, just personally. But like I said, if Betts does suffer a setback or something, then maybe this helps you. I can imagine maybe you did this because maybe you're really hurting at outfield or some other positions.
All right, we'll see how it goes there. Super Dave, what's up? Are the Marlins? I think he means the Rays. Didn't Christopher Morel go to the Rays?
Yeah, the Rays.
I mean, whatever. Florida, It's all the same, right? Same thing.
Florida team that's not contending. Same thing.
All right. Well, is he going to play third base? Because they did trade away their third baseman. Do you think Morel slots in at third base for the Rays?
He shouldn't because he's really bad at it, but he'll probably play a little bit there. Probably DH a lot, maybe see some time in the outfield. You know how Tampa rolls. They don't put one guy at one position and keep him there for the most part. So, yeah, Caminero is going to come up. I almost guarantee they did all this, and they're still doing this, especially if Yandy gets moved. Yeah, Caminero will be up pretty soon. So this is your time to grab him. So, yeah, we all want a Caminero promotion, and I think we'll see it. I don't think they view Morel as their third baseman of the future. I think they view him as a utility guy who can move from third to left to DH. They're going to try to tap into his power, pull side power. So, whatever. I don't think we're going to see Morel too much at third base, but they'll find a way to squeeze him in the lineup most days.
All right. Thanks, Super Dave. Good to see you. All right. Back-to-back Nate with a trade question, but you don't know which side is his. It's just a trade. Side 1 got Altuve and Robbie Ray. Side 2 got Royce Lewis, Luis Garcia, and Wyatt Langford. Which side do you want? Who wins?
I love me some Royce Lewis, but I think right now I'm going to go the Altuve Ray side. I mean, Altuve is just, what you're getting. It's going to help you across the board. And Robbie Ray, look pretty good so far, first start back. I think he can be helpful to teams down the stretch. And I'm not out on Langford. I still believe in the upside, but it's very up and down so far. And of course, Royce Lewis, there's always the risk. I should even say the likelihood that there's another injury looming. So I got to go the Altuve Ray side.
All right. Eddie has a question. So I don't know which side you were there back-to-back, Nate, but hopefully you were the Altuve side. Possible closers rest of the season. Luis Garcia, Anaheim.
Yep.
I guess he's trying to say not the second baseman.
Luis Garcia, not the other or the other.
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Ronzi Contreras, Albert Alzolay, Colin Posh. Garrett this shows you I don't care about closers. Garrett Cleavinger, Genesis. There's somebody named Genesis in Major League Baseball. Cabrera, Bender / Nardi. This sounds like does not sound like baseball names. This sounds like I'm like I don't know, like a Dungeons and Dragons game or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like characters in a JRPG or something.
Yeah, exactly. What is this? All right, rank these guys.
Okay, possible closers. Well, here's the thing let's start with Garcia. Is he might get moved too. There's been a lot of interest in him, so he might not be still in Anaheim. And if he does get moved, it's not going to be a closer. It's going to be a setup man. So I can't put him high on the list because I really don't believe. I'm not sure that he's going to be a closer. How about that? Contreras, I'll pass. Alzolay, no. I like Colin Post the best because they've already moved Jason Adam, and then Fairbanks, good chance he gets dealt to. And even if he doesn't, he's a guy who's never too far away from the IL. So I'll go with Tampa and Colin Post there as the top choice. When we talk about the Marlins there, it might not be Bender or Nardi. Actually, it might be Calvin Foucher. So I don't think it's going to be either one of those, even though they both might make sense. I'm not sure it's going to be either. So I would say then I'll go Cabrera second. I'll go Post, Cabrera. I guess there's a chance Alzolay gets a job back. I don't feel great about it. And then maybe Garcia, maybe. And then I don't even think I can rank the rest.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Eddie. All right, Wilson, what's up? He wants to know, is Garrett Crochet toast? What's going on with Garrett Crochet? Last 5 outings. Has not gone over 4 innings in any of them. Has given up, well, I guess, I mean, he hasn't really given up a lot of earned runs. That's the good news here. Well, okay. Against the Marlins, he went 4 innings. Against the Pirates, he only went 2 innings. Why do you only go 2 innings in that game? Against the Rangers, he went 4. And just today, I guess, versus the Mariners, only 3 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. What's going on here?
Well, what's going on is that for weeks now we've heard that he's going to get traded, and they're being careful with him, right? They don't want their big trade chip to all of a sudden lose value because of an injury or something. And then he's got to have you got to have it in his head too, like all the pressure and wondering what's going on. So I'm not worried about Crochet right now. It's just all the stuff that's going on. So wherever he winds up, I think you still have to view him as a frontline starter. I mean, there's nothing that he has done before the last couple of weeks. It's not a coincidence that this, sudden drop in innings pitch and drop in effectiveness coincide with all this trade noise. It's going to affect the player, right? It just is. And that they're wanting to limit his innings. So I'm really not worried about Crochet.
All right. Don't be worried. Hopefully he gets traded. All right, Tyler Durden. He's got Miranda on IL. Should I drop him or Nimmo, Ramos, Cowser, Pardis, or Chet? So he's got to make. I guess he's got to make room for Miranda. So he's got to drop one of these guys: Nimmo, Ramos, Cowser, Pardis, or Chapman. Who are you dropping?
Probably gonna drop Ramos. You definitely don't want to drop Paredes because he's gone to probably a slightly better situation. Nimmo's been horrible lately. I mean, this past month, he's done nothing, but he'll bounce back. I have a feeling he'll bounce back. I like Cowser. In fact, I called Cowser a buy low just last week, so not worried about it. And as far as Miranda himself, no, I got to keep him. I know he's not going to do what he was doing before his IL stint. He's not going to be getting a base hit every at bat. But obviously, he showed he's got, he's got some thump there. He's in a Minnesota lineup that's getting to be somewhat full strength there with Royce Lewis back. So I want to keep Miranda. And then Chapman has been solid. He's been fine. San Francisco's been better on offense. So I think Ramos is the odd one out.
All right, go ahead and drop Ramos. And then we just talked about this a little bit, but Wilson wants to know Luis Garcia, Angels, Luis Garcia. Is he worth an ad?
I think he is worth an ad, even though I know I said there's no guarantee he's the closer. It doesn't mean he won't be because – it makes sense for the Angels to trade him, but since when do the Angels do what makes sense, right? I mean, let's just be honest. And besides that, we don't know for sure that the asking price, it's going to be matched. So I think he's definitely worth an ad, but I won't add a bunch of possible would-be closers now, just in the hopes that they become closers. I actually fell for this myself. You remember we just did a couple of days ago talking about the waivers, and I actually picked up AJ Puck. I'm like, hey, Tanner Scott's going to get moved, right? AJ Puck's probably going to stay and become the closer. And okay, what happened? AJ Puck got moved before Tanner Scott, and he's not going to be closing games, probably like not too much in Arizona. I mean, we don't know, right? We think we know, but we don't know. So if you want to take a speculative shot, sure, that's fine. I'm not saying he's not worth an ad, but just kind of have to watch and see how things play out.
All right. And then Eddie wants to know, is Joey Loperfido somebody who might get moved?
One thing I talked about a couple of weeks ago, which now doesn't seem as likely to happen, but we never know. It's possible. Christian Walker going to Houston, and if so, that they would give up Loperfido to get him. I mean, it still kind of makes sense for both parties, although D-backs probably want to, think they're going to wind up holding on to Walker. So if they can upgrade significantly, they would do that. But if it's not Walker, and obviously they didn't get Paredes, I don't know if there's any other deal that they would make that they would give up Loperfido unless they do get a big fish in terms of the starting pitching market, a Crochet, a Skubal, or somebody like that. So it seems less likely than it did for me at least a week ago. It's still in play, though.
All right. Could happen. Uwe2K, what's up? Would you drop Vientos, Kim, or Miranda for Doyle or McNeil or Tyler Phillips in a points league? So I guess
points league. Okay.
Are you picking any? I guess the best way to say, are you picking up Doyle, McNeil, or Tyler Phillips and dropping one of these guys for them?
Yeah, I mean, I know points league's slightly different, but I'm shocked that Doyle is still out there. Doyle is so underappreciated still. I feel like this year Doyle should be owned. I mean, you got to pick him up. So I could drop probably Vientos for him. Yeah, you got to get Doyle. Like McNeil actually might wind up being more valuable for you than a Miranda or Kim. But I think I still want to hold on to Kim. I don't know how many points you get for steals, but still, I think at Kim, I did call him a buy low a couple weeks ago. I feel like the batting average is going to tick up. And by up, I still mean like maybe 250, 260. But that's still up from where it is now, right? That's still better. So I would say right now, you can drop Vientos and Miranda for Doyle and McNeil.
All right, and then we got a super chat from Jahoni. What's up, Jahoni? Says he doesn't think Crochet and Luis Robert Jr. will be getting, or Skubal will be getting traded. So he wants to know, which big name players do we think will get traded? We did talk about this. I know you probably just got here. We did talk about this in the beginning. If you want to go back and get Pierre's thoughts on these guys that we talked about: Blake Snell, Jack Flaherty, Jamison Taillon, Eric Fetty. I don't know if Tanner Scott is a big name. Yonder Diaz, but he is a closer, I guess. Taylor Ward, I guess he's doing all right. So those are guys we talked about. Any other big names?
One guy we briefly mentioned a week ago was Cody Bellinger. That seems less likely now, too. I don't think he gets traded. But again, the guys we don't think will get traded usually get traded and vice versa. We don't really know. So I want to throw that out there. It wouldn't shock me if he did. I actually agree with you, Jahoni. I don't think Skubal does get traded because the Tigers, unless the team is really willing to give up the farm to get him, and I don't know that that's smart even to do when you could just settle for a guy like Flaherty instead. You're looking to go all in now and in the future, sure. But Skubal's got his injury history too. I mean, you don't want to give up the farm for a starting pitcher, with Tommy John in his past, or, it's just very risky. So if I had to guess, I don't think Skubal does get traded. I do think Crochet does get traded, though. I do think he does. And Robert, I probably now would say he probably doesn't.
All right, we'll see. Well, you never know. Gonna be a lot of movement here. All right, Uwe2K again. Better starting pitcher / relief pitcher, Yariel Rodriguez or Carson Spears? This week,
yeah, I like
this week and just in general.
Okay. Well, this week and in general. This week, obviously, we talked about Spears going with him and not Yariel. Yeah, Yariel, I like. I talked about him as far as the waiver wire pickup not too long ago. Yeah, I looked at his 2-start schedule this week and immediately said no thanks. Because I think he gets the Dodgers and the Yankees or something like that. Like, no. I can pass on Yariel this week, but in general, I actually would prefer Rodriguez. So this week, Spears, probably rest of the season, Rodriguez.
All right, football kid 17. What's up? But not a football question. It's got a baseball question. He wants to know your thoughts on his rotation. Cole Reagans, Cutter Crawford, Garrett Crochet, Eric Fetty, Pablo Lopez, and George Kirby with Yu Darvish on IL. It's a head-to-head league. What do you think?
Yeah, this is, I'm assuming a 12-team league. If so, you're solid. I mean, you're rock solid. You got a true number one kind of starting pitcher with Kirby, and Crochet has been this year. I still am in on Pablo Lopez rest of the season. I love Reagans. I know Cutter's been disappointing. In fact, going to talk about Cutter Crawford on the Panic video that's dropping tomorrow. So you'll see exactly how worried I am about his last couple of starts. And then Fetty, I think it's just going to get more valuable. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yu Darvish, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard anything about him. He's been away for weeks, and it's some sort of a personal matter. We don't know anything about it, so it's kind of weird. But if you can keep him on your IL, that's fine. But yeah, you're good. You're in a good spot.
And then he wants to know if he should stream Marsh tomorrow against the Sox.
No, I'm not streaming Marsh. I'm going to stream Waka. I don't know if he's available in your league, but gets that same schedule, right? Gets the White Sox and gets the Tigers. I much prefer Waka, but Marsh does not do it for me.
Okay. All right, Victor Villegas, what's up? Bailey or Stevenson at catcher?
I think you got to go Stevenson. Bailey's one of those guys is kind of not really settled at the position. He'll be hot for a minute and then he'll disappear. So I would rather have Stevenson. Although there's some other catchers I'd rather have instead, but I don't know if you have others available.
All right. Back-to-back Nate with another one. He's got no NA spot. Is it worth stashing Jason Dominguez?
Not right now, because I think the Jazz trade pretty much solidifies the fact that without major injury to their outfield, I don't think we see Dominguez before September. So I don't think you need to. They're going to give him some more time anyways. There's no reason for them to push him up. Remember, last year they did because they just had to. Like, they were running out of bodies. They needed something. They brought up all of their AAA team. This year, they're not in that position. So I wouldn't say I would stash him yet.
All right, Brandon. What's up, Brandon? Do you advise more than 2 relief pitchers in a 10-team points league? D. Williams is available, but he's got Holmes and Finnegan. So he's got two good closers. But Williams is available. You grabbing him still?
Williams is available. You can drop one of those guys or somebody to get Williams. So, hey, Holmes and Finnegan are guys that might not be closers by the time the year's over. Finnegan is very much, and I didn't talk about him. Well, there you go. And that's Victor. Yeah, if you can trade him away, do it. Look, I said this. I've been saying this for a while now. A lot of these guys are even remotely on the trade block potentially, or have teams that could be acquiring closers or competition. Just trade them now. And I say this, and I really wish I could do this more often in my leagues, but I can't. But like Carlos Estevez, maybe he's the closer in Philadelphia. Maybe he's not. Like, we don't know. Maybe it's a 3-man committee. Maybe it's a 2-man committee. We're going to see him get a few saves. Maybe we see Hoffman. Maybe we see Alvarez. Do you really want to deal with that? Do you want a guy who's the closer who gets you like 1 save every 10 days? You know what I mean? Holmes could lose that job very easily. What if the Yankees get Tanner Scott? That's very possible. So Victor and Brandon and everybody, if you can trade Holmes, do it. Finnegan, don't be shocked if he gets traded. He very well could get traded. So I would move him too. But if Williams is available, I don't care who. I'm dropping whoever I need to get him.
All right, this might be the toughest question of the day from Alberto. Gaussman, Yankees, Are you doing it?
Is it a road game? I think it is.
Doesn't matter. It's let's see.
It does matter.
It's I don't know. I don't know if it's a road game or not.
That's the thing. We talked about the split there, a ridiculous split, home road.
But he did just throw a 9-inning complete game, not a shutout. I was really shocked he went 9 innings because he gave up 3 runs. 9 innings, struck out 8 against Texas at home. So
true. Well, maybe the split isn't as bad as it used to be. And in Gausman, by the way, they say he's not getting traded. And actually, it sounds like Bassett won't either. So, but whatever that's worth. Oh, this doesn't even show me. Hold on. Well, of course, I say all that, but if he does pitch in Yankee Stadium, that's actually worse, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with Gausman. You still want Gausman?
No, I think I'm good actually. Look, I'll just say this: he just came off of a great start, right? So he's probably due for a bad start. Let's just say,
yes,
let's just sit him out and play it safe.
Yeah. Football Kid wants to know top streaming options for tomorrow. Football Kid, go back, rewatch it. We went over our 2-start streamers for the week. A lot of them pitch tomorrow, so you can check that out. Anybody on that list, if he's just looking for somebody for tomorrow or somebody not on the list?
Yeah, actually. Okay, so you're not looking for a 2-star streamer, just a tomorrow streamer. I'm pretty sure, let me double check. Jose Quintana, I picked up because he is possibly going to be a 2-star streamer this week. I think he's scheduled to pitch tomorrow. So Quintana might be a nice one. He's owned only 25% of leagues. So that's pretty good. Quintana's a solid one. Who here is pitching tomorrow? Let's see. I think, does Waldron? Well, it's Waldron available in your league is one question because he's about half owned. So no, Waldron pitches on Tuesday. All right, let me look real quick. So what
about this? What about, he says Quintana against the Twins? Simeon Woods Richardson. I forget who he's pitching tomorrow, but I think it's a pretty good matchup. Zach Eflin.
Eflin is Eflin might be a decent start. I mean, we're seeing what he's going to look like, you know, as an Oriole. He's going to have run support. Yeah, I think if you don't have to go as deep as Quintana or Woods Richardson, I would avoid the, Woods Richardson this coming start. If you can go Eflin, I'd go Eflin.
All right. Football Kid also wants to know Ian Happ or George Springer, who I noticed you picked up. George Springer. Ian Happ or George Springer?
We're finally seeing the old George Springer. I've been happy with him. I'm keeping him in my lineup. He's stealing bases. I mean, what's up? I'm going to go Springer.
All right, go Springer. Sure, nothing bad could happen with Springer. All right, let's see.
Well, this is
he's got Vladdy or Pete Alonso. What do you think, Vladdy or Pete Alonso?
Oh, okay. This must be a trade proposal or something. I'm gonna go Vlad. I mean, obviously Alonso gets you more power. Vlad gets you more average. I'm gonna lean Vlad, but it's pretty close.
All right.
Put this one up though, because let me throw this because I noticed it. Somebody asked. We've had a lot of Luis Garcia questions. I see even more Luis Garcia questions. If he does get dealt, maybe even if he doesn't, but probably if he does get dealt, pick up Ben Joyce. Yes, I picked up Ben Joyce in 2 leagues. And Ben Joyce is a name that I think we're all going to want to know. Remember, he's the guy who once threw a 105-mile-per-hour pitch. So, but besides that, he's been pretty good. He's been kind of groomed, I think, to be the future closer there for the Angels. So, Garcia is definitely worth a pickup. But if he gets dealt and he's just a setup guy somewhere else, you're going to want Ben Joyce. I think that's actually a really smart stash. So, I want to mention that, and props to Lieutenant Double H.
All right. And then Alberto wants to know, would you drop Tobias Myers, who was pitching great, and then the rain came, and yep, okay, that was fun. Or the mustache Mikolas. You drop either of those guys for Waldron for his 2 starts this week in a points league.
Yeah, because I like Waldron. I like Myers, and I kind of regret dropping him. But yeah, I like Waldron. Just been so solid. Get the 2 starts in a points league, even better. Yeah, give me Waldron.
All right, and then Randy Leeson, what's up? Saying Kerstead has to be getting traded, right? Right? Maybe.
He's only getting traded if they get a Screwball or somebody like that. But he doesn't have to get traded. A guy like Connor Norby, Kobe Mayo, some of those guys might get traded. I have a feeling he was one of the first guys they brought up, and he was one of their best hitters at AAA, not just ranking as far as prospects, but I think he's a guy they would prefer to keep. I think there's other prospects that might get moved. And let's face it, Baltimore can deal from surplus right now, right? They don't have to give up a Jackson Holiday or Heston Kjerstad when they can just keep reaching and deal out a couple of other prospects. So I don't think he does get traded unless they swing a blockbuster, and he has to be part of the deal.
All right. And then also from LTHH, Double H, Lieutenant Double H. What's the word on Bellinger? I know they said possibly during this road trip. Have we heard anything?
Last I knew is he was still feeling some discomfort with throwing. And so he might just have to DH at first, but that he's feeling really not much pain when he swings a bat. And so he's taking BP. He should be able to come back. Yeah, probably sometime this week. But he'll be limited to DH duties. That's as far as I know. So yeah, he should be back pretty soon.
All right, and then back-to-back Nate wants to know, are you holding on to Brian Wu? Left Saturday's game with a hamstring injury, but they're saying he shouldn't miss his next start. But back-to-back Nate saying it feels like he gets injured every other start.
Well, you're not completely wrong there. Let me just make that a perfect segue to tomorrow's video, because I put Wu on there because I know what you're feeling. I'm every time I want to go all in on him, and then it's something else. It's like, what the heck? Like, he just threw, I think it was 70 pitches, right? 4 innings. It's always something. But you don't want to let the little dings and, these minor things completely, get you off of a player who's still good. And it's just such a good situation. So I don't think you have to hold on to him if you're set in your rotation, but again, I'm about to go into some more detail on that. So check tomorrow. I know you guys, obviously Nate, y'all always are always catching the videos and live streams. So I'll talk more about Wu for tomorrow.
That's right. Good segue, because we are all caught up on the questions. What's up, Tristram? Just joining us. Okay, well, actually, we got one more from Super Dave. Paradis has been very bad recently, other than that 4 RBI game. Are you dropping him to activate Jeffrey Springs?
No, because I think you got to feel that maybe this is also part of it, right? This guy's just starting to slump when he's hearing he's going to get dealt, this team, that team. He saw his team trade away their best player, Rosarena. All these players are starting to get moved. That weighs on a player, right? When you know your team is tanking for the season, and when you know that you're probably going to be on the way out. I'm not going to read too much into the slump. And you got to figure with a park factor, Wrigley, as opposed to the Dome, it's going to help him, right? I can't say that the Cubs are a better lineup as bad as Tampa's been, because Chicago's been just as bad. But I feel like he's going to be better the rest of the season. So I wouldn't drop him.
All right. Okay, Tristram, one more. under the gun. Do you still think Spencer Jones could be a trade chip for the Yankees?
Well, again, kind of like somebody was just asking as far as, high-end prospect like Kierstad. Uh, Only if it's a major deal. They got to get something very significant back, a Crochet or Screwball type, right? Young pitcher. So he could be a trade chip, definitely. Yankees also can deal from strength, but only in those situations.
All right, there we go. Now we are caught up again, and this is a good reminder. We were talking about it there. Do not forget, tomorrow morning, Panic video will be out. Tuesday, Beat the Breakout, all the prospects you need to know about. Wednesday, Buy Low, and of course, Friday, Waiver Wire. And we will be back here Wednesday, which I believe is the trade deadline, right? That is the actual trade deadline, so we should see plenty of moves between now and then. We will break them all down. Blue crossover asking about Crochet and Fetty. Blue, we talked about these guys a lot. Talked about Fetty in the beginning, potentially Astros or Cardinals. Crochet kind of still on the fence about that. So, okay, Tuesday, thank you, Eddie. Tuesday is the trade deadline at 6 p.m. So we'll have a lot to talk about on Wednesday with the trade deadline. So make sure you're back here on Wednesday to find out who got moved, who didn't, whose value went up, whose value went down, whatever happens. And of course, remind you on the way out, if you haven't tried Underdog yet, good time. Well, you got the baseball pick'ems, of course, still for tonight. Red Sox, Yankees, if you want to get on that. And of course, you do have the fantasy football drafts, which we're going to go do one right now on Underdog. And if you haven't joined Underdog Fantasy yet, this is a good time to sign up and use promo code ENDGAME when you do sign up, because that's going to get you a special pick'em plus up to $250 on your first time deposit. So definitely check that out if you haven't already, and check out all the videos, of course. Thank you for being here, and we will see you all back here Wednesday for the breaking news from the trade deadline.